A tale unfolds at an airport where Lu Mingfei, a young traveler, asks for directions to the CC subway station. In a frustrating turn of events, someone mistakes him for a beggar, suggesting he seek help from his embassy. Irritated, Lu Mingfei internally blames a woman who previously directed him here, questioning the existence of the supposed subway station at the airport. Hungry but short on cash, he attempts to buy a burger, only to face rejection as the staff, too, mistake him for a beggar. His situation grows more peculiar when actual beggars begin waving at him like an old friend. Enter Finger von Frings, a mysterious young man who approaches him asking to borrow money for a Coke. Lu Mingfei, sensing potential deception, declines. However, the dynamic shifts when von Frings spots Lu's subway card and declares they're schoolmates, proving it by showing an identical card. Overjoyed at finding a fellow student, Lu Mingfei lets his guard down, allowing von Frings to take his money. As they wait at the airport later, von Frings, with a hint of pride, reveals to the new student Lu Mingfei that he's quite famous at their school, though mainly for repeatedly failing his classes. He explains their school's peculiar transit system. The train they await prioritizes high-ranking students, while lower-ranked ones must endure uncertain waiting times. He adds that their mysterious school lies hidden in the mountains, necessitating this unique train journey. Before Lu Mingfei can probe further, von Frings drifts off to sleep, and Mingfei, finding no better alternative, follows his example. In his slumber, Lu Mingfei's mind conjures a haunting vision, people clutching torches, fleeing in terror, and leaping from a cliff's edge. The dream shifts to the airport, where a small boy claiming to be his brother appears, questioning his readiness for an impending apocalypse on Earth. When Mingfei dismissively offers the boy money for food, the child refuses, calling him pathetic for maintaining his kindness, even after many years. Mingfei jolts awake from this unsettling dream just as a peculiar-looking man approaches, announcing the train's imminent arrival. Upon learning Mingfei's name, the man's demeanor transforms into unbridled excitement, revealing that Mingfei is the long-awaited S-rank student, important enough to warrant the principal's personal welcome. Von Frings joins the revelation, explaining that Mingfei shares the principal's rank and could have summoned a train instantly by simply swiping his card. This news leaves Mingfei stunned, realizing he's wasted an entire day unnecessarily. When Mingfei finally swipes his card through a reader, the airport transforms. Lights blazing as a hidden passage to a subway station materializes. As they descend, von Frings remarks that such impressive effects are exactly what he'd expect from an S-rank student. In the station, Mingfei becomes unnerved by zombie-like figures, but von Frings reassures him they're merely actors setting the scene. The climactic moment arrives with the train, from which Professor Guderian bounds out, embracing Lu Mingfei and declaring they've been anticipating his arrival. During their journey to Cassell College, Professor Guderian has Lu Mingfei sign confidential paperwork. After dismissing Finger, he reveals the school's true purpose, educating students about dragons and teaching dragon-slaying techniques. Mingfei, skeptical, suspects the professor might be mentally unstable. Suddenly, Lu Mingfei experiences a trance-like state where he encounters the mysterious boy again. The child validates the dragon tales, sharing an ancient history. Nidhogg, the Black Dragon Emperor and original ancestor of the Dragon Raja, met his end thousands of years ago on his own throne. The warriors who slew him placed his enormous corpse atop an ice-covered mountain. This event ushered in the New Age, sparking widespread celebration. When Mingfei questions if the boy has any dragon lineage, he denies it. Upon returning to consciousness, Masashi Toyama enters to provide tangible evidence of dragon's existence. They present a dragon scale for Mingfei to test its durability, but this fails to convince him. Their next piece of evidence proves more compelling: a baby dragon discovered in 1796, preserved in a perpetual slumber since its finding. As Mingfei approaches the sleeping creature, it unexpectedly stirs to life, attempting, but failing, to break free from its glass enclosure before returning to its dormant state. The professor theorizes that Lu Mingfei's bloodline triggered the dragon's awakening, expressing relief that they'd upgraded to a nano-container the previous year, preventing what could have been a catastrophic escape. Finally reaching their destination, Professor Guderian extends a formal welcome to Cassell College, offering to guide Lu Mingfei on a tour of the grounds. Upon first seeing Cassell College, Lu Mingfei is awestruck by its grandeur and scale. Walking through the hallways, Professor Guderian explains their research findings. Numerous high-level dragons lie dormant across China, which prompted the schools to make Chinese studies mandatory. Mingfei, noticing the eerily empty campus, questions this absence of students. The professor, suddenly realizing his oversight, urgently commands Mingfei to take cover. They've stumbled into Liberty Day, an annual celebration featuring a war game between two rival factions, the Lionheart Society led by Chu Juhang and the Student Union under Caesar Gattuso. Chaos erupts as students emerge from various hiding spots, engaging in an intense battle with their weapons. Professor Guderian falls victim to gunfire in the crossfire. The battle dwindles to just 4 combatants, the 2 leaders and their respective snipers. While Zhuhang and Caesar engage in close combat, Lu Mingfei, observing from a distance in terror, encounters Nono, the student union's sniper. When the opposing sniper takes down Nono, something snaps in Lu Mingfei. He enters a trance-like state, with the mysterious boy urging him to punish their sins. In a surprising turn, Mingfei seizes a rifle and systematically eliminates the remaining fighters, the enemy sniper, Zhuhong, and Caesar, with precise shots. As Mingfei processes his actions in distress, the school alarm blares. Red Cross girls rush to the fallen students, administering what appears to be an antidote, miraculously reviving them. Professor Manstein arrives, bemoaning the expense of these activities and questioning why a freshman would participate in such events. To Mingfei's shock, Professor Guderian regains consciousness beside him, quickly explaining that the bullets contain sedatives and fake blood, demonstrating this by shooting himself and promptly passing out again. As the students recover, Professor Manstein threatens to report the incident to the principal, despite the group leader's insistence that no rules were broken. In an amusing twist, when Manstein calls the principal to complain about the costly renovation expenses, the principal dismissively waves off his concerns, encouraging student enjoyment and assuring that the school will cover all damages. The principal's jovial apology for missing the event and promise to join next time triggers enthusiastic cheers from the students. He then specifically requests to speak with Lu Mingfei, warmly welcoming him and playfully noting how he managed to take down 2 A-rank students on his first day, though unsurprising given Mingfei's S-rank status. Professor Manstein, sensing brewing tension, advises Mingfei to retreat to his dormitory before facing retaliation from students angry about their defeated leaders. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, a serious conversation unfolds between him and a man named Mons. They reflect on a tragic incident from 8 years prior that resulted in student casualties. While the principal emphasizes the importance of student training for battle readiness, Mons argues for finding a singular prodigy to lead the fight. They acknowledge Chu and Caesar's strength, but now consider Lu Mingfei as a potential candidate. Their discussion shifts to tomorrow's Hills operation, where Mans reports that Ye Shang and Aki are prepared for underwater deployment, though they must proceed cautiously to avoid disturbing the dormant dragon there. Upon reaching his dormitory, Lu Mingfei discovers Finger von Fring as his roommate. Finger explains that Mingfei's victory has made him a target of both rival factions, the Student Union and Lionheart Society. Offering a campus tour, Finger guides Mingfei through various facilities, including the fascinating Yanling study area, where students learn magical abilities. He shows him a significant building housing Professor Manstein's father, who maintains a protective barrier around the school through his Yanling powers. While explaining the different types of Yanling skills, they witness a student losing control, creating a water monster that a teacher quickly contains before it can cause havoc. This incident triggers another vision for Lu Mingfei, where he finds himself standing before a mysterious half-withered tree. When Lu Mingfei inquires about the tree's significance, Finger explains it's the World Tree, beneath which the Black Emperor Dragon met his defeat, serving as Cassell College's symbolic emblem. Their conversation is interrupted by Professor Guderian, who urgently escorts Lu Mingfei back to the dormitory. In their dorm, Professor Guderian hands Lu Mingfei his student ID and introduces him to the crucial 3E test, a mandatory evaluation for new students that determines their continued enrollment. Despite Lu Mingfei's S-rank status, failure means expulsion, though Guderian expresses confidence in his success. The professor then produces an intriguing music box, revealing its historical significance. Centuries ago, someone captured the Black Dragon Emperor's dragonic sound within it, now known as the Imperium Yangling. However, when Guderian plays the ancient dragon sound, expecting a response, Lu Mingfei simply falls asleep, completely unaffected. This unexpected reaction leads Guderian to theorize that Lu Mingfei's human genes might be suppressing his dragon genes. Before Lu Mingfei can respond, the professor abruptly departs. Seizing this moment, Finger rushes to his computer to broadcast on the school news network that Mingfei showed no reaction to the Imperium. As anxiety about the upcoming test creeps over Lu Mingfei, Finger attempts to reassure him, offering to help him cheat his way through the 3E test. Meanwhile, both faction leaders, Zhuhong and Caesar, learn through the news network about Lu Mingfei's lack of response to the Imperium, adding another layer of intrigue to the situation. Professor Guderian races to the library, summoning Professor Manstein for an urgent investigation into Lu Mingfei's unusual immunity to the Imperium. As they pore over historical texts, they uncover a startling possibility. Lu Mingfei might be descended from the White Dragon Emperor, Nidhogg's ancient challenger. The records reveal that after the White Emperor's defeat by the Black Emperor, all his descendants were supposedly entombed alongside him. Manstein suggests that this revelation warrants putting Lu Mingfei under intensive research, but Guderian strongly objects. Protecting his recruit, Guderian refuses to let Lu Mingfei become a mere research subject, emphasizing the boy's inherent goodness. Manstein attempts to compromise, promising humane treatment and secrecy about their discovery, but with conditions. If Lu Mingfei passes the 3E test, the information stays buried. If he fails, Manstein will report everything to school authorities. The plot thickens later that night when a mysterious figure appears, interfacing with Norma, the school's AI system. In an intriguing twist, this unknown person convinces Norma to ensure Lu Mingfei's success in the upcoming 3E test, to which the AI agrees. Lu Mingfei enters the test hall with confidence, armed with answers provided by Finger. According to the instructions, students would receive blank papers and experience a soul vision triggered by a recording. As the test begins and invigilators exit, outside the hall, Toyama engages Nono in conversation about her own 3E test experience. She reveals seeing a shadow taking her mother's life. Inside the hall, most students abandon any pretense of seriousness, choosing to fool around instead. Only Lu Mingfei and a blonde-haired girl appear to take the test seriously. As Mingfei diligently writes his prepared answers, he suddenly slips into another trance state, encountering the familiar boy. This time, he learns the boy's name, Lu Mingze, sharing a name with Mingfei's cousin. Mingze explains that this vision reveals what lies buried in Mingfei's heart, emphasizing Mingfei's uniqueness and offering to shoulder his burdens. Upon awakening, Mingfei finds Nono standing before him. She informs him that he's been asleep for 2 of the 3 allocated hours, but fortunately, he'd already written his answers. She notes a minor issue. He provided 9 answers instead of the required 8, and while he can't correct this now, she reassures him that based on what he's written, he's definitely passed the test. In the dormitory, Finger celebrates Mingfei's test success with an official welcome, then curiously reviews his course selections. He questions Mingfei's choice of Professor Mance's alchemical mechanical design course, known for its rigorous nature. However, Finger reveals that these classes were cancelled 2 weeks ago, as Professor Mance is reportedly on a mission searching for an ancient dragon. Meanwhile, far from campus, that very mission unfolds as Professor Mance leads a team exploring submerged ruins of an ancient city. Yi Sheng and Aki, suited up in diving gear, plunge into the depths. Among the underwater ruins, Ye Sheng employs his Void Snake Yangling abilities to investigate the sunken structures. The situation turns dire when Mance warns of an approaching magnitude 5 earthquake, but before the divers can retreat, the tremors hit, severing their communication with the surface. Fortunately, Ye Sheng manages to utilize his Void Snake ability to maintain contact with Mance, reporting their precarious situation. Professor Mance reports their ancient city discovery to the principal, explaining they need a special key, a baby with pure dragon blood, to gain entry. He suggests the ruins might be a Dragon King's palace. After receiving the baby from its mother, who stresses the child is their last remaining key, Mance dons his diving gear and descends into the waters. At the Bronze City's entrance, Mance uses his Yangling to reveal the gate, then employs the baby as a key to unlock it. After giving detailed instructions to Yi Sheng and Aki, he returns to the ship with the baby. Aboard the vessel, Mance directs Norma to perform a comprehensive scan of the city. Yi Sheng reports dangerously low oxygen levels, prompting Mance to warn them about oxygen conservation. The team discovers a massive bronze pillar in a chamber. Before exploring further, Yi Sheng instructs Aki to prioritize her own safety over attempting any rescue of him. While Yi Sheng explores, Aki receives orders to photograph a statue and transmit the images to the ship for Norma's analysis. The situation deteriorates when the ship detects a security system failure and notices Aki's elevated heart rate. As she begins losing consciousness, Yi Sheng returns just in time to revive her. He reports finding a promising but impossibly heavy artifact and warns of a possibly sleeping baby dragon within the city. The situation escalates when Yi Sheng notices a statue stalking Aki. His defensive shot at it triggers the city's security system, activated by Aki's earlier contact with the statue. As the city's architecture begins shifting around them, they realize the baby dragon, sensing an invasion, has initiated a lockdown. They make a desperate escape attempt, dodging various obstacles while racing back to the ship, with Yi Sheng explaining how Aki's interaction with the statue sparked this dangerous chain of events. The Castle College alarm sounds, summoning all A rank and above students. Before responding, Lu Mingfei experiences another vision where the mysterious boy, Lu Mingze, warns of an impending death, but suggests Mingfei could use the situation to his advantage. He shares a secret map unlocking code, hinting at its future importance. Finger rouses Mingfei from his trance for the summons, but Nono dismisses Finger, explaining only A-rank students are needed, sending him dejectedly back to his dormitory. In the assembly hall, students face computer stations as professors explain the crisis. 2 team members, Aki and Yi Sheng, are trapped in an ancient city with oxygen supplies running critically low. The student's task is to decipher the city's internal structure using a statue image. Mingfei recognizes the blonde-haired girl from his test among the A-rank students. When told they have just 20 minutes to save their trapped colleagues, Caesar Gattuso points out the seemingly impossible task. Dragon text typically requires 15 years to translate. Despite the daunting odds, the professors urge them to attempt it. As students frantically work for a solution, the The professors anxiously watch the clock. Initially bewildered, Lu Mingfei begins configuring his computer, aided by Norma, who sets up a familiar game interface. Recalling the code from his vision with Lu Mingze, he inputs it into the map. To everyone's astonishment, the code successfully decrypts the map's puzzle. The solution is immediately transmitted to the ship to guide Yisheng and Aki to safety. On the ship, Yisheng warns about the challenges of interpreting the map in their predicament. They find refuge in a tranquil section of the submerged city, where Yisheng suggests showing the map to the baby. Upon examining it, the baby reveals a crucial insight. Their only escape route lies downward, through the city's foundation. Professor Mance checks their oxygen supply and is relieved to find 3 minutes remaining, which he initially believes sufficient given their speed. Yisheng urges Aki to save her strength for their escape, but grows concerned when he realizes their oxygen might not suffice. As Aki tries to express her feelings, Yisheng silences her with a kiss, promising their survival. Professor Mance then discovers a critical oversight. Their calculations only accounted for the oxygen needed to exit the ruins, not the ascent to the surface. Upon this realization, he promptly orders a lifeboat's deployment and positions the ship at water level to assist their extraction. Meanwhile, at the college, tension grips the faculty and staff as they anxiously await news. Lu Mingfei receives a timely call from a friend inquiring about his new school life. Noticing Lu Mingfei's despondent mood, his friend offers words of encouragement, urging him to maintain hope despite the circumstances. Back aboard the ship, Professor Mance dispatches rescue teams to locate Yisheng and Aki. As he grapples with guilt and near despair, rescuers spot movement in the water. Aki surfaces, delivering the artifact to Professor Mance and revealing Yisheng's sacrifice to ensure her survival. The moment of relief proves brief. An unknown creature suddenly drags Aki back underwater. Mance's assistant restrains him from diving after her, and they watch helplessly as the water churns, followed by the appearance of Aki's blood. A water dragon emerges from the depths, pursuing the ship relentlessly. Professor Mance fires multiple rounds from his rifle at the creature, but to no effect. When missiles are deployed, the dragon unexpectedly swallows them whole. A crew member alerts Professor Mance that the missiles remain active, prompting him to order their immediate detonation. A massive explosion erupts beneath the waves, and the crew breathes a momentary sigh of relief, believing the threat eliminated. As Professor Mance's assistant expresses regret about not capturing the creature alive for study, the dragon suddenly resurfaces, impaling her through the heart and dragging her into the depths. Horrified, Professor Mance empties his rifle into the water in a futile attempt to strike the beast. The dragon continues its relentless pursuit, and it's at this moment that Professor Mance recognizes its true nature. The creature circles their vessel, emitting strange sounds, which Professor Mance interprets as mocking laughter at their failed attempts to destroy it. When informed about the live missiles still inside the dragon, Professor Mance warns against detonation, explaining it would only result in the creature releasing dragon-like flames back at them. A crew member spots a nearby dam, inspiring Professor Mance to order full speed ahead. Their plan is to use the dam's barrier as protection before detonating the missiles. Racing against time, they manage to reach the dam just ahead of the pursuing dragon. Professor Mance commands the dam gate to be opened, allowing their escape while simultaneously trapping the dragon against the barrier. They detonate the missiles, destroying the creature in a massive explosion, but in a cruel twist of fate, one of the dragon's teeth becomes a lethal projectile, striking Professor Mance. At the college, students gather anxiously awaiting news. The principal appears on screen, announcing their successful mission and acquisition of the artifact. The announcement sparks jubilant celebration among the students. He specifically acknowledges Lu Mingfei's crucial role in map interpretation, earning him a round of applause from his peers. The students then disperse to their dormitories. En route to the dorms, Chu Jihong approaches Lu Mingfei with an important proposition. He wants Lu Mingfei to succeed him as president of the Lionheart Society. Jihong emphasizes that he sees no one more suitable for the role, while assuring Lu Mingfei that choosing the student union instead would create no ill feelings. Their conversation is interrupted by the tolling of the school bell, which Jihong explains, along with the circling doves, signals a death in the school community. The students pause to pay their respects. In Professor Mance's final moments, the principal urges him to hold on for medical help, but Mance acknowledges it's too late. He shares his discoveries about the dragon and ancient city with the principal, requesting that students be told he's embarked on a new mission rather than learning of his death. The principal confirms that the dragon base has been transported to the college for further investigation. With his last breath, Professor Mance makes a final request to ensure Nono receives a new mentor. Lu Mingfei receives an invitation to Caesar's dance party via email, prompting him to inquire about Caesar's identity from Finger. He learns that Caesar comes comes from an influential, wealthy family with high expectations. Despite his hesitation due to lacking formal wear and dancing skills, Finger convinces Lu Mingfei to attend, suggesting he borrow attire from the drama club. At the ball, Lu Mingfei and Finger notice they're among the few without dates. Nono makes a grand entrance, welcomed by rose petals scattered at her feet and Caesar's personal greeting. Caesar opens the festivities by announcing the ball's purpose, celebrating Nono's birthday, and encourages everyone to extend their wishes. As dancing begins, Finger pushes a reluctant Lu Mingfei onto the dance floor, resulting in an awkward performance while Finger gracefully enjoys himself. Meanwhile, Nono quietly urges Caesar not to pressure Lu Mingfei into joining the Lionheart Society. Caesar reveals to her that, unlike Jihang's direct approach, he has a different strategy in mind. Interrupting the dance, Caesar delivers a powerful speech about excellence and loyalty, culminating in a call and response where attendees pledge their allegiance to him. He then surprisingly invites Lu Mingfei to join the Student Union Society, giving him time to consider the offer. When Caesar requests Lu Mingfei to choose a song and dance, a blonde-haired girl, the same from the 3E test, sets aside her violin and offers to be his partner. She introduces herself as Zero and guides Lu Mingfei through the steps, resulting in an unexpectedly successful dance that earns everyone's applause. After Zero departs, Lu Mingfei steps outside for air, where Nono signals him over. When he wishes her happy birthday, she explains her absence from her own party, citing fatigue. She asks Lu Mingfei to drive her to the mountaintop for relaxation, and he agrees. The festive atmosphere at school suddenly shifts when Norma alerts everyone about a potential Dragon Raja invasion. Despite activating defense systems, the intruders breach the gate. Norma informs the professors of 13 outsiders infiltrating the school, with Professor Manstein revealing their target, the dragon vase from the principal's recent mission, stored in the Alfheim Institute. Due to staff shortages, Norma must rely on student defenders, directing Caesar and Jihang to secure critical locations. Students arm themselves with Frigga bullets as Caesar's group prepares for confrontation. Meanwhile, during the mountain drive, Lu Mingfei experiences another trance state, causing him anxiety about potentially driving off the mountain while unconscious. Lu Mingzi guides him through the drive, playfully teasing him about Nono's invitation and suggesting romantic possibilities. When Lu Mingfei dismisses the idea, citing Nono's connection to Caesar and their age difference, Mingzi reveals that Nono hasn't given her heart to anyone. He offers Lu Mingfei a mysterious cheat code, the phrase, "Show me the flowers," before they reach their destination. At the school, the invaders report to their employer that only 6 of their original team remain, with others captured. Their employer emphasizes the priority, reaching the Alfheim Institute to secure the dragon vase. Norma updates the professors on the situation, leading to a request for Professor Manstein to employ his snake void powers for locating the remaining intruders. This requires lifting the school's protective barrier, prompting Manstein to contact his father. His father agrees to remove the barrier as an early birthday gesture for his son. At the school, Professor Manstein confirms his father's agreement to lift the protective barrier. Meanwhile, beside a mountain pond, Nono and Lu Mingfei share an intimate conversation. When Lu Mingfei offers condolences for Yisheng and Aki's deaths, Nono reveals she's come to terms with their loss, then discloses a harder truth. Professor Mance's supposed new mission is actually a cover story for his death. She explains that Mance had once told her this code. If she ever heard he'd gone on a mission, it would mean he had died. Nono then shares her own wish, that upon her death, they would announce she's on a mission to Iceland, allowing everyone to gradually forget her. Shifting topics, she shares a mythological tale about fireflies guiding departed souls up a waterfall to their final home. The scene at school grows tenser as the barrier drops. The invasion captain employs her Yanling powers of Shadow Field, rendering her team invisible as they navigate towards Caesar's position in Valhalla. Professor Manstein releases his void snakes to track the intruders, while Professor Gundren acknowledges their reliance on student defenders due to key personnel being absent. When questioned about unguarded areas, another professor assures that 10,000-volt electrical protection makes those zones secure. A lone intruder, 13, follows his employer's instructions to infiltrate the school through an alternate route. Following directions to the wine cellar, he enters through a chimney, puzzled by the cellar's abandoned state. He uses a provided master keycard to access a mysterious door. In Valhalla, Caesar activates his Yanling ability, Kamaitachi, detecting the invisible intruders approaching the church. He playfully challenges Jihang to a competition over who will defeat their opponents first, but Jihang dismisses the challenge. At the library, Norma orders an evacuation. Jihang's assistant initially refuses to leave him alone, but finally relents after hearing a radio message explaining why Jihang needs solitude. She departs reluctantly after Jihang's explanation. explanation. The church confrontation intensifies when the intruder's cover is blown by their leader's ringing phone. She introduces herself as Sakatoku Mai, revealing she's Aki's younger sister. When Caesar offers condolences, she expresses bitter disapproval of her sister's choice to join the school, emphasizing their distant relationship. Sakatoku initiates a unique battle countdown by playing music, declaring the fight will begin at the song's end. Caesar, detecting the premature music cut, swiftly incapacitates her subordinates. Sakatoku then reveals their true strategy. She's merely a distraction while the deadpan girl engages Jihong at the library, targeting the school's two strongest defenders. A mysterious masked girl with a deadpan expression enters the library, ready to face off against Jihong. From their observation room, the professors watch intently through a large screen, concerned about the girl's apparent lack of weapons against such a formidable opponent. Professor Gundaran discovers that Jihong Yanling's true nature is a closely guarded secret, known only to his direct supervisors and the principal. The situation intensifies when Jihong unleashes his Yanling ability, Royal Blaze, an extraordinarily rare and devastating power that transforms the surrounding area into an inferno. Professor Gundaran finally understands why Jihong's identity was kept secret, and why the library's evacuation was necessary, finding himself in awe of such remarkable power as he mentally catalogs its characteristics. The professors are left stunned when the deadpan girl reveals she possesses the identical power as Jihong, activating it to counter his attack. In another part of the school, 13 ventures into a restricted area where he encounters Eva, one of Norma's multiple personalities manifested through AI. He reveals his intention to reach the Alfheim Institute, to which the AI responds by explaining that the access route lies underwater and hasn't been used for 35 years. Despite this, the AI acknowledges it cannot prevent his progress due to his clearance card. After their brief exchange, 13 proceeds with his mission. En route, he receives communication from his employer, including news of an increased payment to 5 million, which excites him. However, misfortune strikes when he accidentally falls into a reservoir, losing his phone before receiving the final crucial instruction. Undeterred, he continues swimming toward his objective. Upon reaching a door, he experiences an unsettling sensation, but a mysterious voice in his head addresses him as brother, leading him to unwittingly open the door. Meanwhile, atop the mountain, Nono extends an apology for Caesar's behavior, explaining that his actions were motivated by a desire to see him meet S-rank standards. She confesses to being the true sender of the invitation email, not Caesar as previously believed. The conversation takes a playful turn as she teases him about his dance partner, before surprising him with an unexpected invitation to join the student union. When Lu Mingfei suspects Caesar might have manipulated Nono to recruit him, she quickly clarifies her genuine desire to have him join the union, expressing her wish to care for him as an older sister would a younger brother. Opening up, Nono reveals her engagement to Caesar, a political arrangement orchestrated by their families, and her longing for a sibling of her own. When questioned about her absence during his awkward first dance, she explains that Caesar had prevented her intervention. Playfully, she suggests that if he's serious about being her protector, he should consider getting her presents. The conversation shifts as Nono mentions the mysterious annual birthday gift she eagerly anticipates. At this moment, Lu Mingfei recalls Mingzu's cheat code and activates it, triggering the car stereo and launching a firework that illuminates the sky with "Happy Birthday, Nono." The gesture deeply moves Nono, bringing her to tears as she bends down. Lu Mingfei realizes these annual gifts were from her late mother, a revelation confirmed when Nono shares the painful loss. Touched by the moment, Lu Mingfei commits to being her little brother, and an overjoyed Nono promises to always look after him. Meanwhile, beneath the school, 13's adventure takes an intense turn after opening the mysterious door. A powerful water current pulls him into another chamber where he encounters a shark. Surprisingly, the predator merely observes him before swimming away, a fortunate outcome that 13 attributes to his unusual ability to repel animals. Taking advantage of this lucky break, he proceeds to his target destination, the hidden research institute beneath the college. Using his keycard, he successfully gains entry to the facility. Within the research institute, a remarkable artifact, the Dragon Vase, rests in liquid nitrogen under heavy security. The principal addresses his team of eager researchers, announcing their unprecedented opportunity to study the legendary Dragon King Norton. The researchers' enthusiasm manifests in their immediate desire to dissect the vase, but the principal firmly cautions against such hasty actions. He emphasizes their limited knowledge of the potentially dangerous entity sleeping within, noting that they only know the vase's forging date. He details their careful measures to keep the dragon embryo dormant. When questioned about the vase's mysterious crack, he reveals Professor Mance's ill-fated mercury experiment that caused the corrosion. Through Norma's MRI scan and careful analysis, they make a startling discovery. The vase contains 2 dragon embryo cavities, with one mysteriously empty. Despite the lead researcher's insistence on immediate dissection, the principal's dramatic response approaching him with a knife, and stern warning about the Dragon King's devastating potential forces and evacuation of the facility. Seizing this perfect opportunity, 13 smoothly infiltrates the now empty room. However, his straightforward heist takes an unexpected turn when touching the vase triggers visions of a woman calling him brother. Though he initially dismisses this, the vision returns more intensely as he photographs the artifact. Unnerved by these mysterious occurrences, 13 abandons his mission and flees, inadvertently dropping a bottle from his pocket. Unknown to him, these final instructions, to apply the bottle's solution to the vase and extract its contents, were lost with his phone in the earlier water accident. The story takes another dramatic turn when a mysterious figure enters the room shortly after. This unknown man retrieves the dropped bottle and approaches the vase with purpose. In a ritual-like sequence, he combines the bottle's contents with his own blood on the vase's surface. The reaction is immediate and powerful. Energy surges from the vase as the man cryptically declares that both his blood and the dragon now belong to Nidhogg. In the church, an intense duel unfolds between Caesar and Sakatoku Mai. Caesar, displaying his superiority, easily deflects her attacks before proposing an interesting challenge. Mai gets 3 attempts to defeat him, with victory guaranteed if she succeeds. Her first strike proves futile against Caesar's defense, though she acknowledges his impressive Yanling abilities. During her second attempt, Caesar cleverly exposes her deception, a duplicate created using a hairpin. Mai's third attack shows greater complexity, but Caesar's masterful use of his Yanling ability neutralizes it, following up with a detailed explanation of his counter strategy. The duel takes an unexpected turn when Mai breaks the rules by drawing a gun. However, their fight is abruptly interrupted by a massive explosion triggered by a distant child's silent words, forcing both fighters to evade the blast. While Caesar declares the match a tie, Mai disagrees. Their attention shifts to mysterious evidence left behind, melted footprints on the floor, and a hole burned through the wall, with Mai noting that the temperature matches that of the sun. Caesar expresses genuine surprise that his Yanling ability failed to detect the presence, though he recalls hearing elevator sounds suggesting movement from the basement. As Mai ponders what kind of monster could possess such power, Caesar reaches a chilling conclusion. His Kametachi power couldn't detect the entity because it lacked a heartbeat. Meanwhile, atop the mountain, Lu Mingfei expresses confusion about the car's autonomous behavior, but Nono dismisses the mystery, suggesting they return to the college. During their return journey, Nono and Lu Mingfei's situation intensifies when they hear Caesar's voicemail warning of unknown intruders attacking the school. Despite Lu Mingfei's rising panic, Nono maintains her composure, reassuring him that Chu Zihang and Caesar will have everything under control before their arrival. Meanwhile, within the school, an intense battle rages between Zihang and the mysterious Deadpan girl. The observing professors note their evenly matched combat, with one professor pointing out the girl's superior control over her powers compared to Zihang. They observe that her strategy appears focused on containment rather than elimination, deliberately working to slow Zihang down. Simultaneously, 13 attempts a desperate escape on a bicycle, catching Professor Gundaran's attention through the surveillance system. The professor immediately mobilizes students to intercept him with gunfire. Despite the barrage of shots, 13 skillfully evades them all, only to be unexpectedly struck by Lu Mingfei's car. As Mingfei rushes to apologize, the situation takes a threatening turn when 13 pulls out a knife. However, the confrontation transforms into an unexpected reunion when they recognize each other. 13 is actually Old Tang, Mingfei's best friend. The revelation leads to a quick improvisation of a hostage situation, providing Old Tang with cover for escape. Their carefully orchestrated plan is dramatically interrupted by the sudden appearance of a mysterious little boy, surrounded by flames and an energy shield, who lands on their car from behind, addressing someone as brother. The intense heat prevents them from turning to look, but they catch a glimpse of the extraordinary figure through the rearview mirror before Mingfei quickly drives away from the scene. A desperate scene unfolds as the professor commands guards and students to engage the mysterious child with long-range bullets, explicitly warning them to maintain their distance. However, their efforts prove futile, as the child's energy shield instantly melts any bullets on contact. Escalating their response, they switch to grenades, but even these powerful explosives fail to penetrate the shield. Their unsuccessful attempts only serve to enrage the child further, culminating in a devastating display of his royal blaze power that obliterates everything in the surrounding area. The massive explosion immediately halts the ongoing battle between Zihang and the Deadpan girl. Recognizing a greater threat, they agree to temporarily suspend their fight. As Zihang receives a situation report from his aide, the Deadpan girl reveals a crucial piece of information. The child's release was accidental. She urges Zihang to trust her, which he accepts given the gravity of the situation. In a desperate attempt to contain the situation, Instead, Professor Manstein reaches out to his father about reinstating the barrier to neutralize the child's Yanling abilities. His father delivers shocking news. Such measures would be pointless against this particular opponent, one of the first-generation dragons, specifically the Dragon King of Bronze and Fire, whose power transcends their defensive capabilities. Meanwhile, Mai reports the crisis to her employer, describing the Dragon Boy's steel furnace and energy shield. The employer's initial shock at the boy's release turns to keen interest as she reviews the video footage Mai and Zihong provide. After analysis, she makes a crucial discovery. They're not dealing with Dragon King Norton as presumed, but rather his brother Constantine. She promises to devise a strategy to contain this unexpected threat, leaving Mai awaiting further instructions. Behind the pillars, Nono, Old Tang, and Lu Mingfei watch as the mysterious child searches the area, repeatedly calling out for his brother. When Lu Mingfei questions Old Tang about his profession, he reveals his role as a hunter. Nono elaborates that his organization specializes in tracking down mysterious artifacts rather than animals. Old Tang explains how he received the vase theft assignment through an online job posting, unaware it would lead him to Mingfei's school. Upon showing Mingfei the vase's picture, the crack's significance becomes clear, likely the escape route for the young boy. Nono astutely observes that the child seems to be searching specifically for one of them. Their hiding spot is compromised when Finger's loud complaint about Mingfei dragging him to the dance attracts Constantine's attention, forcing them to flee. Their escape route intersects with Caesar and Mai. After a brief exchange where Caesar checks on Nono's safety, he directs the group toward the swimming pool for shelter. Despite Nono's initial resistance, Caesar convinces her to go, explaining that her presence would distract him from fighting effectively. Mai expresses determination to protect her teammates from the Dragon Boy. A crucial development occurs when Mai's employer calls with vital information. Non-metal Frigga bullets can temporarily incapacitate the boy, though not defeat him. Armed with this knowledge, Caesar and Mai, joined by the guards and students, launch a coordinated attack using the special ammunition, which proves effective in pushing back Constantine. The scene shifts to the swimming pool, where Lu Mingfei, Old Tang, and Finger momentarily forget their predicament, playing in the water before quickly remembering the danger. Hearing approaching footsteps, they submerge themselves. Lu Mingfei suddenly finds himself in a transformed environment, a steaming red pool. Upon reaching the shore, he believes he's experiencing one of Lu Ming's visions and begins searching for him. Instead, he encounters Constantine, experiencing an inexplicable sense of familiarity with the mysterious boy. The landscape transforms to reveal a pyramid, and Mingfei realizes he's been transported to the legendary city of Bronze and Fire. Lu Mingze suddenly materializes, forcefully separating Constantine from Mingfei, sternly warning the young dragon to leave his brother alone and find his own. Mingfei awakens by the school pool, alone and disoriented. The principal appears and escorts him to an Overwatch tower, revealing their strategy to corner the Dragon Boy. He presents Mingfei with a rare alchemic bullet capable of slaying a Dragon King, instructing him to target Constantine's rolling eye once the dragon's defenses are breached, similar to his remarkable shots against Zihong and Caesar. The principal explains his plan to use his Yanling ability, Time Zero, to slow time and create an opening for Mingfei's crucial shot, encouraging him to trust in his abilities. Meanwhile, Old Tang and Finger discuss their pool escape, with Old Tang growing increasingly disturbed by Constantine's fraternal calls. The situation escalates dramatically when Constantine transforms into his true dragon form. The principal takes command, activating Time Zero to slow everything down and break through the dragon's defenses. As the rolling eye becomes visible, Lu Mingfei hesitates until Mingze appears behind him, helping him take the shot. The principal then orders all students to open fire with live ammunition. In a powerful display of brotherly protection, the dragon shields Old Tang from the barrage of bullets, using his final breath to call him brother once more. This triggers a flood of ancient memories in Old Tang, visions of his past life with Constantine, their shared promises of protection and world domination. As these memories cascade through his mind, Old Tang finally remembers his true identity as Constantine's twin brother and the Dragon King Norton. His grief and anger at this revelation culminate in the dramatic disclosure of his true nature. A revealing conversation unfolds between Manstein's father and the principal regarding Old Tang's transformation into Norton. When questioned about his decision to allow the transformation rather than executing Old Tang immediately, the principal discloses a crucial historical fact. Humans have never truly killed dragons throughout their millennia-long conflict, only managing to seal them away. He explains that dragons possess remarkable regenerative abilities, capable of reforming from even a single body part, which is why sealing has been the only effective containment method. The principal, who reveals his own hybrid nature that has kept him alive for over a century, shares his ultimate agenda. He needs a successor to continue his mission, and plans to use Norton's blind rage as a weapon. Despite Manstein's father's concerns about potential human casualties, the principal remains confident that Norton's anger will lead to his downfall, revealing revealing his ambitious plan to eliminate not only the 4 Dragon Kings, but Nidhogg as well. The following day, Mingfei and Finger discuss the recent events, with Finger updating him on the executive's return and enhanced security measures. Their conversation turns to society memberships, where Mingfei reveals his choice to join the student union, influenced by his senior Nono, and learns that Finger is already a member. Their discussion is interrupted by a grumpy old man delivering Mingfei's pre-made student union card, apparently ordered by a confident Nono, along with news of an imminent meeting called by Caesar. In the final scene, the principal commends Caesar for their efforts against the Dragon King before presenting a new mission, leading the student union on an expedition to the Bronze City. He specifically requests Lu Mingfei's inclusion, emphasizing his potential value to the mission. Caesar accepts the assignment without hesitation. In a pivotal moment, Caesar summons Lu Mingfei to his office to discuss an upcoming expedition. Fear grips Mingfei's heart as he tries to dodge the mission, knowing full well the dangerous odds of survival. When Caesar mentions staff shortages among executives, Mingfei quickly counters with mathematical logic. However, Caesar masterfully shifts the perspective, emphasizing the rare honor bestowed upon Mingfei as a freshman, revealing that only he and Zero were selected from their class, with Zero already embracing the challenge. Frustration colors Caesar's voice as he points out Mingfei's failure to live up to his S-rank status, threatening to revoke his union ID if he declines. The tension breaks when Nono enters, offering sisterly protection and guidance, finally persuading a reluctant Mingfei to accept. Caesar sets a 2-month preparation deadline. The following 2 months transform Mingfei through intensive training. He immerses himself in crucial survival skills, diving techniques, martial arts mastery, endurance building, hand-to-hand combat expertise, and various other essential abilities. On the day of departure, a visibly anxious Mingfei dons his exploration gear. Finger, noticing his friend's unease, attempts to lift his spirits. During their conversation, Finger shares an interesting detail about diving protocols. Couples aren't permitted to dive together, explaining that Yisheng and Aki's joint dive was only possible because they kept their relationship private. This revelation hits Mingfei as he realizes Caesar and Nono won't be paired for the mission. Opening up to Finger, Mingfei confesses his deep-seated fear of not returning alive and hands over his credit card, encouraging Finger to use it freely if the worst happens. True to character, Finger immediately starts ordering food, shocking Mingfei with his apparent insensitivity. However, the moment takes an unexpected turn when Finger returns the card, offering heartfelt encouragement and unwavering faith in Mingfei's safe return. This genuine show of support ignites a newfound confidence within Mingfei's heart. As preparations intensify, Norton calls upon one of his dragon servants to ready himself for the impending task. The atmosphere grows tense as Lu Mingfei, Zero, Nono, and Caesar board the ship to commence Operation Bronze. Professor Manstein briefs them on their impressive arsenal, reassuringly explaining that dragon encounters are unlikely. He proudly showcases the ship's enhanced armaments, boasting about their new state-of-the-art torpedo system capable of taking down any dragon threat. Their mission objective becomes clear: infiltrate and destroy the Bronze City before Norton can claim it. When Lu Mingfei questions the necessity of destroying such valuable treasures, Manstein explains their technological limitations. They simply lack the means to raise the entire city for research. The professor elaborates on their theory that Norton must return to the city and enter a cocoon state to regain his full power. The diving arrangements are announced: Nono with Lu Mingfei and Caesar paired with Zero. Initially, Caesar and Zero are assigned the crucial first dive to locate and destroy the cocoon. However, Zero unexpectedly declines, citing her menstrual cycle as the reason. Despite Mingfei's attempts to persuade her that it shouldn't matter, she remains firm in her refusal. Much to Mingfei's dismay, the responsibility shifts to him and Nono. As they prepare their diving gear, Nono thoroughly briefs Mingfei on the diving suit's features, particularly emphasizing the consciousness line, a crucial safety measure that allows the ship to retrieve them if they lose consciousness. Mingfei's dragon-related concerns are addressed by Manstein, who explains that the dragons are currently in their dormant phase. He further elaborates on Norton's situation. When he escaped years ago, he was in human form, and to reclaim his full dragon powers, he must undergo metamorphosis in a cocoon. Manstein reassures them that encountering Norton is highly unlikely during this hibernation period. The tension mounts as Lu Mingfei and Nono descend into the depths, their every move carefully monitored from above. Upon reaching the ancient gate, Mingfei faces his first challenge, pouring pure blood into the gate's mysterious container. As he completes this task, the gate suddenly springs to life, sinking its teeth into him. Only after tasting sufficient dragon blood does it release its grip. Mingfei's terrified screams echo through the water as Nono rushes to his aid. Through his tears, Nono calmly points out that the injury is far less severe than his reaction suggests. Following her practical advice to bandage the injury, Mingfei characteristically overreacts by using an unnecessarily large piece of cloth. Their entry triggers an unexpected event. The massive gate swings open, and a powerful current pulls them inside. The force proves too much for Nono, who briefly loses consciousness. When she comes to, she finds herself alongside Mingfei in the mysterious underwater city. Taking charge, she consults Norma about the environmental conditions. Upon confirming the air is safe to breathe, she instructs Mingfei to remove his oxygen supply to conserve their resources. Curiosity leads Nono to question Norma about the absence of the toxic gases that should have lingered in this long-abandoned city. The answer proves revealing. Dragon King Norton has already returned to his palace, reactivating the city's ancient systems and restoring its functionality. This unexpected information adds a new layer of urgency to their mission. Deep within the underwater city, Lu Mingfei and Nono report their position to Professor Manstein from an unfamiliar hallway. Norma's revelation about Norton's return and the city's reactivated systems creates a sense of urgency. Following Manstein's instructions to locate the Dragon King's palace for bomb placement, they employ an ingenious method, tracking a special dye's flow through the water. As they follow the dye's path, Mingfei's fear becomes increasingly apparent, especially when confronted with intimidating statues. Nono, slightly amused by his cowardice, shares a haunting tale about these monuments. They commemorate a tribe's failed attempt to awaken the Dragon King through sacrifices, crops, animals, and even a beautiful maiden, all of which proved insufficient to satisfy Norton's demands. Their journey leads them to a familiar landmark, the same pillar encountered by Yi Sheng and Aki during their previous expedition. Moving forward, they discover an impressive statue honoring Norton. While Mingfei eagerly suggests deploying their explosives there, Nono's tactical thinking prevails. She reasons that the Dragon King's actual palace wouldn't be in the same location as the sacrifice reception area. In a sudden move, she tricks Mingfei into wearing his oxygen mask before pushing him into the water. During their situation report to Manstein, Nono describes the poor visibility hampering their progress. Suddenly, they're swept into a macabre section of the city, surrounded by skeletal remains of ancient warriors who failed in their attempt to conquer Norton's domain before its submersion. Seizing an opportunity, Nono uses Mingfei's injured hand, still fresh with blood, to unlock a hidden gateway beneath them. The situation takes a dramatic turn as they're pulled into yet another section of the city, losing both their communication link and consciousness line to the surface ship.